folks, and welcome to another Sunday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt, and it is Santa Bowl time, baby. Woo! Last week we played our Santa Bowl, and I want to give the 2023 results and everything from last week. As of right now, I just got done playing it, so a little winded. So I want to talk a little bit about what the Santa Bowl is. A long time ago, 85. In 1985 in Mississippi, my dad started a flag football team, an annual thing around December. It was the pastors versus the youth pastors, or the seminary students. And they played 85, 86, 87, 88. Two of those were in Jackson. I think 85 was in Jackson, Mississippi. 86 was in Forest, Mississippi, where we lived at the time. 87 was in Oxford, Mississippi. And then 88, which was the last year of the golden age of the game, was held again in Jackson. I remember going to those as a kid. I remember loving them and everything. And when we moved here in 89, it stopped. No more Santa Bowl. Now, Dad had the Santa Cup, and the last two scores are written on here, 19-7 and 16-18, even though I'll have to ask Dad who he remembers winning. But anyway, that was its first original run. It stayed in our cabinets, unbeknownst to me, for a few years, 11 years to be exact. And in the year 2000, I uncovered it at Christmas. And I was like, shut up. Well, it was too late to kind of put something together, but I said in 2001, we're going, baby. And so we did. And we started playing our first Santa Bowl in the Silver Age is now over, because it went from 2001 to 2014. With the adults dominating a lot of those years. I'm looking at some of the scores here. The biggest score ever was 03, 63-33. And the only reason we got 63 points is they kept throwing long bombs, and we kept intercepting and running back for touchdowns. In fact, the record for most touchdowns by a single player, I believe, is 6, if I'm not mistaken there. 6, 62. Yeah, 6. And 3 people share that tied lead there, and I don't think it'll ever be broken again. But anyway, for years the adults won. The youth finally won in 08, 18-36. What had happened in 08? We had that's when they had their big guy Luke Brewer. I remember, who now would be on our team, but now he says even though he's 15 years younger than me, he's too old to play. He said. But he got all 6 of their touchdowns were Luke. Whenever they tossed it to him, we could not catch him. And so he just blew us away. And then the youth won again back-to-back years, 18-19 in 2011. I remember that one because that was the year we had field goals. And I told Robbie, our quarterback at the time, I said, kick a field goal, man. They will not expect that, and we'll win by 3 and piss them off. And it was 4th down, last play. And we were going to set for the kick, and they thought it was going to be a fake, because no one kicked the ball. No one kicks a field goal. But what they don't know is we've been practicing with our kicker for like a whole month kicking these. So he knew how to kick it, and he could kick it through there. And we were close, And everyone, my brother, it fooled them. It fooled the youth. They pulled almost everyone off the line. I remember smiling to my defense, who was off the field at the time. I said, we just won this game. And for some reason, Robbie called an audible and decided to pass it into quadruple coverage to end the game, even though we had no one. We could have kicked it and won. So sad. And 2012 was the last time the youth had won in the Silver Age, and blanked us 31-0. And that will tell you right there that we only had 11 people on the field. I remember that year we only had 11, and I told them, I said, guys, this is bad. I remember 2 people, one of them being my brother, going, yeah, finally, Iron Man football. I said, guys, we're going to lose. We're going to get winded in the first half. It was, I believe, I can't remember, 6-7-0. By the youth in the first quarter. We kept it close, and then after that, they blew us away because everyone was gassed by the second half. That always happens when you only have 11, because the old men, they just can't keep up. Youth got more energy and everything. And so we got blanked that year, the only year we had 11 in the Silver Age. And then we ended up winning in the 2014. The last one was 24-7. There's big highlights there, but I want to get to the game at hand and maybe talk a little bit about it. Why we brought it back. It's been 9 years since we brought it back. The reason why, 3 years in a row, I got pulled off from my workplace to go out to Phoenix. I traveled out there all December. I gave it to 2 guys to run. They dropped the ball both years. All 3 years, and then it was just dead. If you don't keep up a tradition, it's dead. So I gave up on it. And last year, at Christmas, my nephew came over, saw the Santa come, he said, we should start playing this again. I'm old enough to play. I was like, let's do it. And so this whole year, I've got the flags in January. I got a coin. I got all this great Santa gold coin to flip. Had the ref set up, had the time, the place, everything set up for this. The flag, the cones and everything, and been prepping for it for 11 months really. And the time finally came. The time finally arrived, and 5 people. It was hard for me to get adults first off, and I did not. I had like maybe 8 or something. And the old time was the old age limit was 28. 28 and younger were the youth. Yeah, that's because there weren't that many youth back then, and there were way more adults. So we kept raising the age every year for like, what was that, 6 years or something? Yeah, 6 years we raised the age every year just to kind of keep the teams balanced. But I couldn't get anyone. I said, look, can you lower it to 26? And so my nephew, I didn't want to steal anyone from my nephew's team. I think his oldest person was 25. No, okay, we'll do 26. We lowered it to 26. I still didn't get anyone. Still couldn't get anyone at 26. There was just no one. And, of course, I had exactly 13 or so, or 14, 15. I can't remember. I had 18 at the beginning of the day. Yeah, no. 18, but then 3 people immediately dropped out. I was down to 15. 4 more people dropped out. I was down to 11. One person said he was coming, never showed. So, I understand. The adults are just getting too old. I was one of 2 original players from the last adult team. Only 2 of us, me and another big man, Will. We did our part on the line. I'm very proud I held the line. But we had 10 players, actually. My nephew refused. He had 17, I believe. No. He had more than that. 17. No, he had 17. And he refused. 18. He refused to give us anyone. So one guy defected because he really wanted to play on the adults. He was 25. And so we took him. He switched shirts, came over. My nephew was pissed. But, still, we only had 10. Our 11th guy didn't show up till later. So playing kind of handicap for a bit. And but I already knew they won. Because if ever we have 11, we're going to lose. Because we're going to get gassed. And that's what happened. We got blanked again. We did. I'm really proud. Our guys were a little embarrassed. We didn't have. Anyway, let's go through this. First quarter, youth go up really quick with an interception. And there were the refs. I didn't do a bad job with the refs, but the refs did a little bit of bad job. They still won. The youth still won. Not complaining. The refs gave the game away. There were 3 times that impacted the game. One, I don't know what my dad was thinking. They did a kickoff. We just let it roll, and it didn't get quite to the end zone, okay? But we just let it roll. Well, the youth, grabbed it, touched it, and it was down on the 2. Dad gave it to them saying it was an onside kick. What? They didn't even know. I was like, wait, it's not an onside kick, Dad. They kicked up in the air, and we let it roll. He said, it went more than 10 yards. Onside kick. And, of course, here's the thing. Traditionally, the adults kill the kids. So my dad just wanted to give. He's always been swayed to the youth, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But that was a little underwhelming. So they got a really fast touchdown then. And that's how they got their second touchdown, actually. There was a flag guard that got a touchdown, and they really should have called that flag guard. But, because, he was hammering down on hands. And all it is you're down. It's not a penalty. You're just down. And so they really should call flag guarding in that one. But again, that's how they got their third touchdown. It was 18-0 in the second half. And I was like, all right, it's fine. They'd still be ahead either way. We blocked a kick. We're running it. But after we blocked the kick, we picked up and ran it. We were far down the field. They blew a whistle because Dad thought we had fallen on it or something. And so we all stopped. Well, then the youth smartly kept running to get our flag. And then they went, oh, he didn't get your flag? It wasn't down? We could have gotten 2 points. The true score should have been 24-2. That's how it should have been, 24-2. But it's 38-0 was our score there. We got blanked again, like I knew. It was 26-0 in the third, and then 38-0. They just kept running away, even though we did pretty well. I know the quarterbacks were a little embarrassed because our quarterbacks were because they weren't doing so well. I don't blame any of them. I really appreciate both the guys for stepping up and playing the game. And I told them that. I thanked them that. I don't want them to feel like I'm passing the blame on anyone. In fact, here's where the blame goes. The blame squarely goes, we only had 11 players. And we're hurting for players. So next year, regardless of what my crying nephew wants, it's going to go down to 23. Back to the original thing because we need extra people. We need extra people to balance it out. And so he's going to lose 3 people maybe, but he's got 6 sitting on the sidelines, and they rarely subbed him out either. My nephew, in fact, they started calling timeouts at 38-0 when there was less than a minute left, so they could try to score another touchdown. But the youth had some angst in them because they really wanted to kill it and show it to the adults, even though 11 players, and they can switch out. They didn't let the little kids play that much at all, and I really think they should have subbed in the fourth quarter. I really think, because honestly, that's what we did. Not to say the 1 year we blew them out was 63-33, and I felt bad about that, but that was interceptions ran in for touchdowns, one just run up the score. Other than that, we would always, if we had the ball at the very end and they didn't have timeouts, we would just knee it. Just to end the game. That's why the scores kept pretty tight. We just didn't want to drag it out. We didn't want to throw them into the ground. But again, I get it. They're youth. They want to run up the score. They want to brag, beat their chest, and whatnot. It's so funny because 15 minutes after the game, I was trying to get who made what touchdowns, and they were all bickering on who scored all the touchdowns. And then they decided that they scored 8 touchdowns instead of 6. No, you didn't. Or 7, whatever it was. No, it was 6 touchdowns they scored. And they felt like they scored more now. They think they scored 8 now. No, you did not score 8 touchdowns. We've been keeping the score the whole time. But they said, well, everyone was claiming touchdowns. And the thing is, they're just getting mixed up. But I love how they fight over who got the most touchdowns now. That's the youth for you. Anyway, so the fault is we only had 11 players. I knew immediately we were going to lose. Immediately we were going to lose and get blanked. Even though, I'll be honest, we came very close to the end zone at the last one. We had 10 yards short, and we just couldn't convert. Hard to convert when it's that close in. I played line. I'm proud to say that I stopped my guy every time except for once. He blew by me very early, and that was my bad. Didn't account for speed, but I blocked everyone else. I got my man each time. I was happy because I was the smallest guy on the line. We had some big linemen. We had one interception at the end, which didn't matter because they were bombing it, trying to get a touchdown. Unfair play there, not sportsmanlike of them. We had, what was it? The other call, I can't remember what it was. The other thing that we did not do, and again, probably my fault here, we probably should have practiced. I should have gotten a better team together. A team together which would have practiced, okay? I don't blame anyone who crapped out the last minute because I could tell they just didn't want to play. And if you don't want to play, but you don't want to, they feel like, oh, man, I don't want to tell Matt no. So I'll just say, and then not come. And that's what, honestly, it was 8 cancellations on the day of. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I can't, I got to do that. If you don't want to play, just say you don't want to play. That's fine. I'm not going to invite any of them back. Not to be mean. They're welcome. They're always welcome to come back. But I just don't want to make them feel like they have to come. But they wouldn't tell me no until the day of. That kind of sucked for me because I knew we only had 8. We got 2 people to come in. One was supposed to come in. One came in super late. We had 11 by the second half. And he actually did pretty well for us. It worked out well. But, by then the game was over. Everyone's huffing and puffing after the first half, which is what happens. And the youth had speed. But we're going to lower the age. Secondly, we need to practice. We didn't have our game together. We didn't know who was going to be quarterback, who was going to be receiver, kind of all over the place. Next year, I promise we'll get a plan, probably even do some practices together just to get things together. The youth had a bad center. They kept bobbling the ball. But the thing is, their 2 fastest guys had the quarterback. So the quarterback would just run and get their yardage. And I came so close. I did a great looking Superman dive and slid honestly 3 feet on the grass afterwards. And the guys, like, whoa! And I got applause by my other linemen for just going spread eagle straight out, hitting the grass full force. What's that going to feel like in the morning? I have no earthly idea, but I'll tell you what, it did not feel good. But I went full out because that was the only way, full stretch to try to snag it. And man, he juked just right. And I would have had him, but I came close to get that quarterback. Oh, so close. And then another time I got him, but he did get the ball released before then. I was too slow. So sad about that. And third thing is, I do not blame anyone on my team. I blame me. I used to get quarterback snacks. And there's no difference than the old from 9 years ago today, except I have aged almost a decade. But I need to be in better shape. I am, in okay shape, but I don't run anymore. I don't walk. I don't condition anymore. I'm talking about straight conditioning. I'm not talking about, I may build some muscle mass, but if my kids can start going to bed at a decent hour, and sleeping, I am maybe going to be the guy to start doing the conditioning again, and just slowly get back. Because I was winded in the second half like everyone was, but everyone was gassed. And I didn't realize this. Our cornerbacks, defensive backs were gassed. And the last couple of plays, I switched out with them. And I had some speed in me, but not as much. And I would have been gassed too covering those guys. And so and I wish I could play back. And I should be playing cornerback or defensive back next time. I shouldn't be on the line anymore. I should let that for the slower people. I did good on the line because I've always played line. But right now, I need to step up. I need to be responsible, and I need to be faster. I don't expect any of them to stay in shape, but I do because I want to be. I am the stand-up ball. I'm the one that keeps this thing running. Kind of the unofficial commissioner of it. Have been since 2001. And I want to get better at it. So I want to. That's a new goal for me for next year is to condition myself. I'm not going to be Superman out there. I know I'm never going to be a receiver. I don't have the hands, but I can be defensive, cornerback, and everything. And I want to do that. This is a tradition I'm very proud about. I'm glad we're bringing it back. I'm glad the youth won. I'm glad the youth won. I'm fine with that. I knew once I could not get a team, they are going to complain so hard when the new rule comes down. We're lowering the age, but they really can't because they had 17 people, 18, but one of them defected. They had 17 people. We barely had 11. Dropping it to 23 will give us maybe 3 guys, I believe, off their team, and they will whine and complain. But I'll be honest, I know 2 of those guys wanted to flip over because they are married with kids and they felt like they shouldn't be on the youth, and I agree. So we're dropping the age and grabbing a few people, but we're also going to drop the age for the youth. I am going to let 16-year-olds play. I didn't because I felt that was unfair to the youth. They got plenty. In fact, I may drop the age to 15. They're not going to play them that much, but they should. But I'm going to drop their age too. All right, so 15-year-olds will rejoice. 16-year-olds will definitely rejoice. But I will drop the age. I'll ask him if he wants 16 or 15. He may say 16, which is fine, but I will drop the age at least by 1 year. I'll let him decide that one. I'll give him some chance there. Some, meaning my nephew Archer, very responsible. Had a quarterback, the armband thing, had no plays written on it. Just wanted to buy one. It's so silly how much they went for this. One guy, probably the most fittest guy, he trains weights and everything. Another good friend of mine, my buddies, my former, he was an old best friend of mine. His son, really buff, ripped and everything. He was sweating like a dog, man. That dude was getting gassed easily. So his conditioning wasn't good, but he was beefcake, man. But even I broke through on him a little bit. I did the spin moves. I don't know if I hurt myself. We'll find out. That big long dive may have hurt it. I came close to the quarterback several times, but like I said, it was my conditioning, being slow a little step, and I want cleats. For my birthday, I'm going to ask for cleats. I need some traction, man. And I am going to start working on conditioning more. I am conditioning my body just to stay a little bit better in shape. So honestly, dropping the age to get more people, that's going to be a big fix there. Doing a few practices with who we have, that's going to be another big fix there. And the third and final big fix that the adults need to put this in is to honestly get me better in shape. I don't expect anyone else to do it because I love and I appreciate them all. I know the quarterbacks felt bad. We switched out between 2 quarterbacks. They kept saying, hey, man, is there anyone who can quarterback? And I told them, I said, look, man, honestly, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for doing this. I'm not putting the blame on our quarterbacks or anything. It was not their fault. Someone was blowing their coverage. I admit I blew my coverage at the beginning, then picked up my man. Someone was not picking up a man, which is fine. It happens. And I'll be honest, there's one guy, one of my best friends who was here 9 years ago. He wanted to make it. He tried everything in his power to do it. He did not make it, and he is my defensive brother, He still plays softball, so he still has some speed on him. He would have been a great quarterback. I'm going to beg and plead and fight and, bark to him to come next year. But he's a good friend of mine, and I know he wanted to make it. He just could not get out of work. Everyone else, sorry, you didn't want to go. You just didn't want to say no to me. And again, I'm not mad about that. But I just wish people would go ahead and say no. I just wish people would go ahead and say no and just be honest with me. Because I really don't have anything against them, but it was kind of deflating to go from, I woke up that morning saying, okay, I calculated, I thought we had 20, I was trying to get to 22. In my mind, we had 21. The week of, we lost 3. And so I was down to 18. And I was like, okay, oh, I hope all 18 show up. And broke my heart. Only 10 did. And that only 9 did, actually. 1 broke away, and the other guy just never showed. And I guess, I mean, even called him and told him. He even told people he was coming, and he didn't. And so kind of sad. A lot of people canceling on the same day, but what can you do? Overall, I've had good times. Now I can, oh, good, I have plenty of time. I want to talk a little bit more about past Santa Bowls in the Silver Age. There was one year, 2000. I'm looking at my trophy here because I write the dates of the trophy. Oh, I'm expanding the trophy. We're getting a bigger block. I'm going to paint it green because the original Santa Cup is red. It's like going to be like Stanley Cup, and we're going to put the scores on the new block. There is room for like maybe 1 or 2 scores on the original block, but I'm not going to let them have that. This is a new age, and it should go on a new block. But this is the original Santa Cup, and I know because this piece of wood I sanded as a kid back in 1985. I remember as a kid, Dad had us sanding the wood, and we sanded it very silky smooth. So we sharpened off the edges for Dad. But I remember when this came out, we were the ones that sanded it. And I remember Mom super gluing the Santa Cup. I remember where she bought it too and putting it on there, and she painted the little Santa's cup on it. And that was our first thing. I remember this block of wood was from our fence post. It was an extra piece of wood Dad had. And over the years, it's kind of split in the back, but thankfully the glue has kind of kept it together. Yes, wonderful. It's the original one. I'm going to build up on it. But looking at this for past ones, some of my favorite ones, 2005 was when we won by a safety. We should not have won by a safety. It should have ended on a tie, but the youth lied for some reason. He wasn't thinking. He caught the ball, intercepted it, ran out from the end zone onto the 2-yard line, 1-yard line. He ran back when he saw us coming for him, jumped into the end zone, but we got him, at the 1. And, I said, we got you down at the 1. He goes, no, I was in the end zone when you got me. And I was like, dude, you weren't. He went, yeah. And I turned to the ref and went, if he was in the end zone, that's a safety. And I looked at him and said, for him, he's like, you got me in the end zone. And so I looked at the refs, and the refs did not want to go to overtime. So they called safety. And the kids cried foul, but he didn't need it. He just ran out and then ran back in. But he even admitted to that because he wasn't thinking. And so, because they should have been down to 1, but he was trying to lie because, I don't know, he just forgot the rules. But when you run out, when you break the end zone, you go back in, that's a safety. And so we won like that. That was a good one. We blanked the kids in 2006, which is awesome when we can blank the kids 20-0. And then my other really famous one that I really liked was 2014. I had probably the best defense we had ever had. It was 11 on 11. We had 11 offense, 11 defense that year. And we were blocking the youth. And it was 24-0. But the youth at the very last minute caught a touchdown because Robbie, my friend, he's the quarterback usually. He was the quarterback in the Silver Age there. He felt like he needed to jump in. And so he tagged out my buddy Brandon. Kyle. And, of course, blew his coverage. Left my brother wide open. I was mad. I was like, Kyle, what happened? He goes, Robbie called me off. I was like, Robbie? He went, oh, no, I saw a gap, and I tried to cover it. And I was like, no, you left him wide open. And we could have had him to 0. But that was the best defense because we were just, everyone on the line, I think, got a sack. And we were talking to each other and working together. I got a couple. My buddy Ivan got a couple. The Russian. I did not ask him this year. I should have. I think he is too old, though, to play. He would have told me that. I do apologize if he didn't. I probably should have told him. Oh, no, I did tell him. I saw him in October, and he did tell me he laughed off. He said, I don't know, Wilkins, if I can do that anymore. So, and I never touched back with him, but but anyway, we all got sacks that year. I've had good memories. I have not scored points in the Santa Bowl in years. It was I can't remember when. Probably in the first maybe 3 years I scored extra points for us, but I don't receive anymore. I don't do that. Eventually, when no one wanted to be on the line anymore, I started playing lineman, and that was great for me. It's kind of weird. I'm one of the fastest people now. I wasn't the fastest. I would definitely say 2 people on our team were way faster than me. But was I third fastest? Sadly, I think so. Sadly, I think so. I was the third fastest on the league. That should never be the case. Never. But anyway, I'm proud of the youth. Congratulations to the youth. I forgot to bring the Santa Cup. My wife did not want to watch the kids. She was not watching them babies. So last minute, when she made that rule, I had to run, and get them to mom's real quick because I had to set up I get in the field an hour early, so I had to run to mom's real quick. I thought the Santa Cup was in the box. It was not. It was on the counter. I felt awful because I know the youth really wanted to celebrate with it. They should have celebrated with it. But I tell them I'd bring it to them Sunday. They could celebrate on it. I'm trying my darndest to find a wooden block until then, but I don't think I'll find one. I don't know where. I know a few people are going to look for some scrap lumber for me, and if so, I'll ask for it back from the youth and glue and put the new and improved Santa's Cup on there. And next year, what are my predictions? Next year's going to be good, man. Next year's going to be good. Like I said, I'm going to try to condition myself. I am going to lower the age to get to balance it out a little bit more. We got to have more. We've got to have people we can move in and out. And then lastly, we're gonna practice a little bit and be on our game. Now, who's gonna win? I still think the youth. And why? Because they got speed, man, and they have obviously been practicing. Good for them too. But I do believe we're done with this blanking stuff. As long as I can get enough people, I'd really like 11 again. But that's a dream now. But either way, I'm going to try to switch it up. Santa Cup, an annual flag football game. I'm so glad we're bringing back. Like I said, happy for the youth. Congratulations to them. And someone said, hey, guys, like the ladies on the field were like, this was so much fun. Have you thought about doing it for Thanksgiving? And then one, called the Turkey Bowl. And we used to have a turkey bowl, but it was for bowling. We did that for like 2 years. I tried to do some other traditions. We used to have something called the Big Game every July. No, it was May. Every May, we play a baseball game, the adults versus the youth. And that lasted for like 6 straight years and then never came back. And it's not coming back because there's just not enough people. It's 9 on 9. You've got to have 9 players. So that's never coming back. But I'm trying to bring back bowling and golf. It was called Quest for the Check. And that happened I can't remember when we had it. We only had it 2 years. I won it both years. Bowling, I won the Turkey Bowl both times. And I never bowled that good. But that year I just had to have a good bowling. And we tried to get another hockey thing going because I got with a skate rink. But there was just no interest in hockey. So we just scrapped that idea. Someone mentioned soccer, an annual soccer game. Nope, because I don't like soccer. I said they could, but we didn't. That died on the vine. I tried to do tennis for a little while because a few people were playing tennis, but we realized not many people were. We tried to do a volleyball annual thing, but then there were no volleyball courts. So we've tried other annual things. They just don't work. Oh, the lady said, hey, you should do a bunny bowl for Easter. And I was like, no. We're only doing this in December, second weekend. Oh, we do it the second weekend in December. Why? Because the Army-Navy game is that weekend. No one's watching football, and so you can get away with it. But now a lot of people are fighting for that weekend and trying to schedule other things. My wife was pissed because their little play thing, they decide on the second weekend of December. But sadly, I had claimed that date on January 9th. I made the announcement on January 9th that the Santa Bowl would take place December 9th at 1 p.m. And I claimed the date ahead of time. I showed him the post. I said, sorry, because mom was like, can you just move it to that morning or something? No. And we always play in the afternoon. I'm not opposed to playing in the morning. I get a little antsy. But I play it at 1. We used to play it at 2, but the game went super long and it was getting dark. I may push it. I like it at 1, actually. I may keep it at 1. We were done by 3. So, yeah, we've done for an hour now. But I like it done by 1. Yeah, I mean, the refs, again, made some poor calls. Like I said, the final score should have been 24-2 because we should have gotten that touchdown. I mean, the extra point that we blocked. We blocked a lot of kicks, and they kept fumbling a lot. They did not do good. Their center was so nervous on the snap. So if we could put some faster guys in there, we would have gotten them. But overall, it didn't make a difference. The refs didn't throw the game. I'm not blaming it. There were some bad calls. The questionable onside kick, which was dumb. And then, of course, the flag garden, which is dumb. They need to watch. There's obvious flag garden. That was the only time they did that. They knew they did it, and they stopped. Because the kid never did it again. He knew he was flag guarding the whole time, holding people's hands away. And everyone was looking at the ref going, he was holding. How does he get away from a ground through of people like that? But And then I can't remember what the other blown call. There was another. Oh, the whistle. Yeah, the whistling, which made us stop because we all thought someone had grabbed the flag, and the kid rightfully kept going because he knew no one grabbed the flag on him. But we were around him. He had to move past us, and I thought he had. We all looked back to see if Shelby had gotten the flag, and he didn't because someone had blown the whistle dead. And refs got to pay attention. Refs got to pay attention. But again, I probably need more refs. Is what I need to spot the ball because they can't see from that far back. So, it's hard for them to catch up and maybe get the refs together better. So, overall, I've talked about it. I love the Santa Bowl. May it go on forever. And, of course, now we're in the Bronze Age, I guess. And congratulations again to the youth. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to say. I will see you next time on Saturday morning Samoflange. Santa Bowl winners of 2024. Here we go.